Oh, God, there's 5 seconds to go. We need a goal. Our whole season rests on this one throw-in, one ball, 2 hands, a Rory Delap Blu-ray DVD from a car boot sale in Ipswich. This is my moment.
Very high, and he...
You know what it is, yeah? I actually didn't have the time to watch the DVD. You're sold. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what has been kicking off in the world this week? Well, there's the sad news of the Pope's passing. No, I'm not talking about Newcastle's goalkeeper pumping it into touch again.
There's a footballer died today. Fuck off, Nick Pope. Who's the backup?
I mean Pope Francis, who died this week. He lived a long life, but it's obviously still pretty sad. He decided meeting JD Vance days before was so bad that he couldn't live with it anymore. People are genuinely betting on Neil Warnock to be the next Pope now. I personally would love to see it, and he'll be absolutely fuming when his archbishops aren't performing midway through the season.
Fucking hell, some of you. You want to have a look at your fucking self, some of you, in the fucking mirror. Because there's some of you lot that could have done fucking better and we should have been up there.
On to the football though now. The title race is still on. In the same way Bonnie Blue's clothes are still on. Things are getting desperate for Arsenal fans now. Right, welcome to your psychological evaluation. What is your name? I don't remember. Right, that'll do. Right, question 1. Can Arsenal still win the league? I mean, well, I don't see why not. Obviously, you know, stranger things have happened. You know, the atmosphere. Oh, fucking hell, we're gonna have to put him down. Arsenal's title hopes faded to all but nothing as they drew 2-2 to Crystal Palace. The Eagles tweeting, "You're welcome, Liverpool." Yeah, it's a shithousery award for him. Istanbul is finally on the other foot as Ebereeze revealed what Palace had been talking about in the dressing room beforehand.
The most repeated word in the changing room during these days.
Remontada.
They came back from 2-1 down here, so not quite the same. But either way, a great result for Reds fans. Now, Arteta, I'm sure, looked at Liverpool in the league in recent weeks and said, man, we need to be more like them. Unfortunately, he looked at Andrew Robertson. The Gunners have been nervous about their centre-back situation with Gabriel out, especially given who was going to have to step up and replace him, because fucking hell, Saliba's been awful. William Salibusi here developed ADHD in the last 2 weeks, as he was culpable for the equalising goal. Jean-Philippe Mateta looks like a character from Black Mirror at the moment, fam. Hey, what did you call me? What is this contraption on the side of his face? But it's William who'll be getting an earful here. Or a kung fu kick from Arteta. Bro is frozen. He's not up to this task. David Raya couldn't believe his eyes watching Saliba uninstall his peripheral vision again.
I don't know what he's looking at.
In a result that has Arsenal fans giving up on the league now, all except one. Look, listen, we have to be there in case the bus breaks down during the parade and we get into... For Crystal Palace, they are perfectly mid. 12th in the league, like always, with 11 wins, 11 draws, and 11 losses.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
As for Bukayo Saka, he hadn't started this game, probably for his own mental health, but also due to an assassination attempt from Leif Davis in Arsenal's thumping of Championship outfit and Combine Harvester enthusiasts Ipswich. I don't even know what he's going for here. Why is he aiming at his standing leg? That's for Euro 2020 or something. And after his performances against Real Madrid, there's been a plethora of home-designed shirts for Declan Rice, including egg fried and boiled, bend it like Declan, and soon enough we'll have this guy winning his own award. As for Ed Sheeran, who obviously sponsors the club and is part owner, he praised the Arsenal midfielder as well by giving him a signed guitar. Deck won't be quite as amused when Ed picks up the guitar and actually starts singing with it. These results mean all Liverpool need to do is have Alexis McAllister have a dream about winning a football match to be crowned champions. They did more than dream about it versus a Leicester side who have a chronic allergy to goal frames, as a late Trent Alexander-Arnold goal gave us a 1-0 win. There were mixed messages from Trent with this goal, I'm not gonna lie, as his shirt was hung from Leicester's corner flag. Oh, don't let me dream, man. Maybe he is staying. Was he looking back longingly at it like it was Jude Bellingham's meat schlonger, or walking away from an iconic outfit and era of his career? Or does he simply not even want to wear the shirt anymore? Either way, Trent will have questions for me when he's caught me deleting all my tweets about him.
I would need to review that.
I'd like you to review that right now. Can you tell me who wrote that phrase?
Yeah, I mean, it's highly likely that I wrote that.
What percentage likely?
You
wrote that, didn't you?
Okay, Yeah.
Either way, Mo Salah's trying to do his best to keep Trent at the club. Posing in a picture with him on Insta, agent Mo Salah is at work, which means Mo's probably going to sign for Real Madrid as well. Vendors outside the ground, they've seen enough already. Selling Liverpool scarves with champions written on them. It could have been very different here. Leicester having a goal ruled out after a shove on Alisson. Shame on VAR for not letting Leicester score their first home goal since 2021. Jamie Vardy was quoted as saying it had been an absolute shit show end to the season from his pit of VK, vodka and ketamine-induced depression. Meanwhile, wanted posters are popping up all over the city. Alright, thank you very much for applying for this job. What are your goals and aspirations here? Goals. I'm afraid I don't have any of those. Well, you're not going to get the job then, are you? Now, given you haven't got a job at the moment, Paul, it's not looking good. I'm not going to lie to you. A bad credit score is anywhere, you know, kind of around 200. Yours is minus 86. I'm not used to scoring. Paul, you've lost the house. In literally the last 25 seconds, it's over. Hey, but are you sure you're okay? You don't finish anymore. I mean, how am I supposed to when Jordan Ayew can't? Babe, I don't even know who that is. Can we just go back to... Life at Manchester United right now is bad. It's like when you walk into a chemist to get some paracetamol for a headache, then you turn around and see a man with an explosive vest packed to the brim with C4s. I mean, Anana's never getting to that free kick, to be fair. I feel like these skits are getting less and less relatable. A 1-0 defeat at the hands of Wolves had United fans crashing back down to earth, fresh off winning Euro 2028, Sports Personality of the Year and a Brit Award versus Lyon. Nemanja Matic, for one, was absolutely loving it. It's always nice to see an underdog victorious, which is why it's a shame United weren't the winners here against a rabid set of Wolves, who have now won 5 matches in a row. Unreal bit of form for them. Shout out their manager Vitor Pereira, who's really turned things around. The goal scoring here coming from a beautiful free kick from Sarabia. That, though, not enough to stop Matheus Cunha trying to sneak onto Manchester United's team bus when they all went home. They're actually United are getting tucked in by everyone, bro. This is the difference I'm feeling like at the moment. Like, United under Ten Hag, they'd lose to the big teams, might even get battered by the big teams, yeah? But they'd beat Palace, they'd beat Wolves, they'd beat all the mid-table sides, right? Now, anyone can get it. Anyone can take 3 points from Old Trafford these days. Ruben Amorim's now got a worse win percentage than Gary Neville did at Valencia.
Leave the football before the football leaves you.
He said he'd rather play as goalkeeping coach than Marcus Rashford in his current attitude. I'm starting to think I want to see this goalkeeping coach play out on the left-hand side. I've seen him training with Andre Onana, bro, and he's got 0.3 of a pelvis. Ruben Amorim will have questions for Mason Mount after his late miss in this one.
What the fuck is that? You think I'm paying all that money for you to do that?
But at least there is some good news for Red Devils fans. You're now mathematically safe from relegation. As for Tottenham, and surprise, surprise, it's not much better there. I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. It's, you know, this stadium, it's a tough place to go. And this is your stadium, you're playing at home. I fucking know, mate. When he said he wins things in his second year, he meant like football matches. At best, like couple football games he would win. I don't really know what's going on Tottenham Twitter. They decided to start announcing their lineups or giving their lineup predictions via ridiculous means like the Wii Sports menu, couple dodgy websites involved as well. Whatever this one is, they got Jed Spencer's complexion a little bit wrong. He had to activate some new powers before turning up to the game against Forest. And speaking of Nottingham Forest, it's actually quite incredible what they're doing. They have the lowest average possession stat of any team in the Premier League, right? Yet they're still in the Champions League, and really proves you don't have to dominate the ball anymore to succeed, which is good, I think. Either way, Tottenham now in a position where they could hand Liverpool the league title over their rivals Arsenal with a loss against the Reds this weekend, and they'll be celebrating with us if that does happen. Over at Manchester City, they're doing some celebrating of their own. A last-minute winner scored by Matheus Nunes boosted their chances of the Champions League and hit a vital blow for Aston Villa. Pep Guardiola was in dreamland celebrating at the end. I ain't seen this in time. Pep's water bottle will have been depressed being neglected for the first time in 8 months. People were calling it the empty had again because there was quite a few empty seats at one stage here. I will remind people this is like a 42nd minute of the game. If you go to matches, you know this is the time at which this is prime time to go get a pint if you're really in need of one. I mean, who can blame? Half the Man City squad have been doing that during games this season. Phil Foden put in a good performance, then he put his controller controller down and stop playing FC 25. They've stopped playing Philip, yeah, and they've started winning games, all right? Maybe we should rescind his player of the season from last campaign. The man's just not turned up for this league campaign at all. In fact, Pep Guardiola could be seen trying to give him tactical advice down on the substitutes bench. One other man down on the substitutes bench was Ross Barkley. He was left visibly annoyed when Unai Emery drew for Donyell Marlon to come on instead of him. Bit of a shame for Villa. Still not out of the race at all. It's an incredible Champions League race this season. It's absolutely mega, so I'm hoping it goes down to the final day. The promotion race isn't going down to the final day in the Championship though, as Leeds and Burnley confirmed their relegation for the 25-26 season. Nah, but genuinely speaking, it's great to see Leeds back in the Premier League. They come up as champions. Meanwhile, Burnley defeated Sheffield United to go up in second place. Leeds' game was quite extraordinary. A 6-0 win, 5-0 up at half-time, with striker Joel Pirro scoring 4 goals in the first half and a hat-trick in 20 minutes. The scenes for Leeds' promotion were absolutely glorious. Harry Gray, younger brother of Tottenham's Archie Gray, made his debut and celebrated here as well. Special day for him. I've been told by my boy who's a Leeds fan that he's actually better than Archie Gray was at his age, which is scary as well. Either way, Leeds took a dig at the people that take a dig at them, posting this where someone had printed off a shirt about them falling apart again. Yeah, I'm sure that won't get used as a meme at some point when Leeds start doing badly in the Prem. It'll be fine, lad. Let's be honest, they're guaranteed to play Liverpool on the opening day. That's what always happens. Meanwhile, given how hard the adaptation has been for Championship sides getting promoted recently, it looks like all the playoff teams are doing their hardest to not get promoted by all losing at the same time. Burnley, meanwhile, on the other hand, have been very pragmatic in their promotion. They've only conceded 15 goals all season. The slight issue is they've only scored 15 as well. You know, fair play to Scott Parker. He's got a very defensively sound side. Not the most entertaining in terms of goal scoring, but there was entertainment at the end of their game against Sheffield United as a scrap kicked off between Burnley fans and Sheffield United players. Manager Chris Wilder will have some harsh words on the side that beat him last weekend.
When people now ask me if I like football, I say yes, I do like football. But not Burnley. Burnley can fuck off.
Southampton, fair to say, are swapping places with Leeds and Burnley this season, but they did manage to grab a draw against West Ham, who are now without a win in 6. Southampton are now joint as the worst team ever. They can't outright be the worst anymore, and Nicholas Füllkrug was absolutely fuming with his teammates at full time.
It's a mindset problem. Very angry today. We didn't have the ability or the motivation to push up again, but the motivation, the engagement, sorry, and I'm very angry. I don't know, but it's not the first time that we score a goal and the next score kick we just shoot the ball long. We don't try to play football anymore. That's not the way we want to play. Where we can play 65 minutes before with possession, even if it's not perfect. But we try to play with possession, we try to create chances.
The German absolutely raging at an attack that he's quite literally a part of.
I'm angry. I'm very angry, to be honest with you. I need a calm.
For what it's worth, I really respect players for coming out and actually giving their opinions anyway, rather than just being completely media trained. B, just in this specific situation, I think it's actually pretty useful too. Füllkrug has not really had the season that he would have hoped for at West Ham. He's not been fit for a lot of it as well. But you've finally got a player here who's willing to drag up the rest of his teammates at West Ham. West Ham, who have definitely had a bit of a player problem at times in the last 10 years, and show a bit of leadership. He's definitely someone that looks like he's going to become a manager at some point. Now, over in Ballers League, I'm not going to lie, I've not really been covering this too much because I haven't been watching it. I do think it's entertaining, but bruv, I've barely got enough time to watch the actual football that's happening every week for this series, let alone Ballers League as well. What I did see, though, was Troy Deeney getting added to one of the sides. I think it's like Wembley Wanderers or something. He signed for that club, but he was going to make his debut. I can't wait to see him, you know, back up his chat and prove that he's a brilliant footballer and clinical goal scorer. Yeah, now he got sent off on his debut after just like scrapping. There was more scrapping as well for Josh Harrop, a former Manchester United youngster. He's without a club at the moment, but decided he was going to start beefing with Ian Wright at full time. Uncle Ian firmly getting in his face. This guy must be a serious wind-up merchant if he's getting Ian Wright that annoyed. Now over in Spain, and Barcelona looked dead and buried. 3-1 down versus Celta Vigo before pulling off a sensational remontada comeback to win in the 98th minute thanks to a Rafinha penalty. It wasn't all good news though for Barca fans, as Robert Lewandowski was taken off injured, grabbing at his hamstring during this one. It does at least give him more time to practice his TikToks. He really needs that time, I'm gonna be honest.
I want to hurt myself, yeah.
This, of course, just before a vital Champions League semi-final against Serie A leaders Inter. Their coaches must have been doing witchcraft at Barca airport to try and get him injured. There was frustration down on the bench, as well as one of Barca's coaches threw an iPad to the ground, smashing it into pieces. Yeah, best believe, given their finances, they're booting up Klarna to get get a new one as we speak. This is what La Liga referees do to a man. Barca, man, they can't afford this sort of upgrade. That iPad still had Fruit Ninja on it. iOS BC was the operating system. They've only just got the funds to buy one of these, and now it's been blammed. Their coach will be turning up with a scroll to write his tactical analysis on at their next La Liga match. Speaking of which, their next La Liga game was against Mallorca, and it took a while to get the breakthrough in this one. 40 shots to be precise. They won the game only 1-0 with 40 shots on goal. Meanwhile, a special shout out to Pedri, who's been one of the best midfielders in the world this season. He broke possession 1 records twice on the bounce for the league against Celta Vigo, and then broke it again against Mallorca. An all-round absolute baller. Now at Real Madrid, and I know that they need help in their back line at the moment with all their injuries, but signing Novak Djokovic seems a little bit ridiculous. Jude Bellingham picked up an injury recently to his shoulder. He's had strapping on it. Brother, that's a whole shirt. Just let him sit on the bench, fam. You might as well put bulletproof armor on the kid. Real Madrid also left it late to be victorious this week, winning 1-0 against Athletic Club thanks to a Fede Valverde screamer. Injured Kylian Mbappe was absolutely loving it in the stands. Elsewhere in La Liga, and Anthony helped Betis to a 3-1 win versus Girona. He then pointed to his neck tattoo for his celebration, a neck tattoo that translates to enlightened in English. Yes, he's been enlightened in the fact that in life, to succeed, you have to leave Manchester United. As for the side they beat here, Girona, who of course started the season in the Champions League, it has been an absolutely disastrous campaign for them. They've now fallen apart with 1 win in the last 15 games, and they're only 3 points above the La Liga drop zone. But shout out the City group, they do a great job. Meanwhile at Ibiza, and we had some wholesome scenes in the dressing room, where the side won on the manager's birthday. The players then brought him a birthday cake, and he couldn't help but get a little bit tearful, as a nice gesture that his players had pulled off for him. Over in Italy, and kind of linking to what I was talking about at the start of this video, due to the Pope's death, there's been a significant amount of games that were called off as kind of like a mark of respect. I think it was the Monday night games. Serie A fans are fuming. Italy's quite big, so people have had to get ferries, etc., or travel 10 or so hours for games, only to get told the games are being called off and being delayed to 3 days in the future, like during a day where there's going to be work, etc. Not have any means of getting to them and get absolutely no reimbursement at all. As one man put it, he's not going to get reimbursed by the Vatican. So in one of the games that did kick off though, and there was a vital moment in the title race in Serie A, as Riccardo Orsolini scored a last-minute goal for Bologna against Inter, which of course indirectly helps Napoli. They decided they're going to make some gifts with his name on, and it leaves the two sides tied on points at the top of the table with an equal record of head-to-heads after 2 1-1 draws earlier on in the season. So that means if they were to tie on points, because goal difference isn't taken into account in Serie A, they would have to play a 1-game playoff that would go to penalties if it ended a draw after 90 minutes. 1 playoff to decide again. Oh my, I need this to happen. One of those sides involved, Napoli. Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore have done a really good job of being loved by Napoli supporters. Thankfully, they saw the funny side of this prank done by one Napoli fan pretending to be a hedge. Juve's women's side won Serie A this week, and it saw Alicia Lehmann dancing with the rest of the players. Why she's at the front, I don't know. She scored like 2 goals this season. The cameraman didn't have much constructive stuff to say about the situation, though.
She's got bumped up.
And shout out to Avellino, a side in Serie C, who just got themselves promoted to the 2nd tier of Italian football. The scenes for this were absolutely glorious. Over in France, it's not a great day to be an SM Khan supporter. Now, this club was bought by Kylian Mbappe recently. They've been relegated. Everything this man touches turns to cheeks at the moment. They were literally fighting for promotion last season, and now they find themselves in the 3rd tier of French football. Parfait Mandanda, brother of Steve Mandanda, the goalkeeper, played 0 games for Caen this season, but still decided he was going to try and talk to the supporters, who are obviously visibly pretty disgusted and appalled about the situation. He was left confused as to why he was getting all the blame, though, when he pulled away in his car.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking piece of bacon! Why'd I get picked up?
This week would also see fierce rivals Saint-Etienne play against Lyon. Saint-Etienne fans visited the club's last training session before the match, the night before, to try and give them some inspiration. Meanwhile, a couple of supporters brought Harry Maguire thank you shirts after the United centre-back knocked their rivals out of the Europa League. It's a shithousery award for them. Not a shithousery award, though, for the fans inside the ground, who got the match suspended after an assistant referee was hit by an object. So just normal French football then. At PSG, and Luis Enrique was visited by an especially young journalist. This translated, basically, yeah, he was asking whether he was sure he really wanted to be a journalist. But I'm sure this kid had some serious questions for him. Okay, Luis, so basically what I'm gonna ask you, yeah? Do you have any crayons? Fucking next question. Over in Germany, there was a swift red card where Karaman here was given a red card after a VAR review in 3 minutes. There were more record-breaking scenes at Union Berlin versus Stuttgart, a match that was 4-4 at half-time, a record for the amount of goals being 8 in a first first 45 minutes of Bundesliga action, but there was none of that important stuff going on at Bayern Munich, as Michael Elise and co were reacting to brain rot on TikTok.
Macachini bananini.
Elefantucci bananucci.
Elefantucci bananantucci. What the hell is that? What is...
Now though, time for your goals of the week. We've got some more stunners for you. First of all, we head to Al Jazeera in the United Arab Emirates, where Abdullah Ramadan has belted in a vicious strike from absolutely miles away. This is an absolute, like, genuine, old school shit-pinger screamer. We head a little bit further out though now for Biggleswade, where from kickoff, one of their attackers has decided to absolutely lump it straight over the goalkeeper to not only give Biggleswade the lead back in the game, but to help them earn promotion.
Oh, it can't. Hello. Hello.
But finally, over to Mexico, and you know me, I love a unique goal. A halfway line strike is great, a long-range screamer is amazing, but a goal that incorporates lots of different elements of beauty is even better. And Carlos Orantia here has flicked the ball over a couple of defenders and then produced a beautiful volley at the end of it, which loops into the far top corner. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
がされているかっていうのは見ていきたいですし、でもリードしてるのは浦和レッズ側なので、What
a prat! And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, the last month has seen the Under-17s AFCON tournament going on, and given, you know, it's AFCON related, quite a few clips have made it into FTW from this tournament. But none are so cool, calm, and collected as the clip that ended the tournament altogether. Because in a penalty shootout between Morocco and Mali, up steps Ilyes Belmokhtar from Monaco. The 16-year-old with the final spot kick to win Morocco the tournament produces a Panenka penalty. This is coldness personified. Absolutely mental composure and ability to deal with pressure at such a young age. And everyone at this tournament's ready for the real AFCON carnage. Last week I told you about Norwegian side Bodo Glimt, who've got a real rapid rise to where they are right now. One of probably the best run teams in all of world football. Well, they knocked Lazio out of the Europa League to make it into the semi-finals of that tournament, and Nikita Haikin, their goalkeeper, shared this photo of him in a Roma kit on social media from when he was a kid. Bitter rivals, of course, of Lazio. Yeah, it's a shithousery award for Nikita. There's also outrageous scenes going on in Belgium, where Union Saint-Gilloise were facing off against Genk. Genk had a last-minute counter-attack and an opportunity to get forward and equalise, given the game was 2-1. Union Saint-Gilloise, though, they had another idea up their sleeve, as the coach threw another ball onto the pitch to get the game stopped and stop a counter that could have led to that equalising goal. He was sent off. But honestly, as much as this is funny, yeah, we've got to get a rule to stop this. I'm seeing it more and more in FTW. I've seen it quite a few times this season now. Just say, put in the rule set, yeah, if this happens, it's a penalty to the other team, and it won't happen again. And staying on the theme of Belgium, a historic day for RAAL La Louvière, I believe that's how you pronounce it. We're promoted from the second tier with a last-minute goal, with absolutely crazy celebrations. In Croatia, and I'm not entirely sure why, but Lokomotiva have it out for Tottenham fans, chanting Tottenham get battered everywhere they go in the middle of a random Croatian league match. I mean, look, I guess it's an involuntary shithouse. I don't even know why they've got a beef like that, but I respect it because they do get battered everywhere they go. Barcelona SC's manager in Ecuador has made a name for himself for being very, very smart when he steps out onto the touchline. This man is the best dressed manager in the whole globe, and he did it again this week with this red bow tie and floral suit. Brother, this guy has got style for days. It might be time for a new style though for David Luiz over in Brazil, as playing for Fortaleza he scored, and his trim right now, it's finito. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Brazil, and we've got potentially the worst shot of the week so far. Up in Scotland, this dog is watching on as the Dundee derby unfolds in front of him, but he's a little bit baffled by the idea of a ball being inside of the television. In Norway, and Kristiansund women somehow got away with this penalty not being given, as their defender quite literally caught the ball after handling it initially anyway, and then clearing it away. I don't know how to pronounce this next team, okay? I think they're from Slovenia. I'm gonna say two variants, okay? Celje or Celje, and I'm gonna hope that one of them's right. But they had an unfortunate unfortunate event on the way home from a Conference League match last week, and that was getting their team bus clamped down on the roadside. In South Africa, and one defender's doing some clamping of his own, with his own noggin, as he produced this head tackle inside his own area. Phil Jones has really been influencing people worldwide. And in the Netherlands, shout out to Go Ahead Eagles, who won their first trophy since 1933 by defeating AZ Alkmaar on penalties in the Dutch Cup. This with AZ 2-1 up into the last minute of the game. Here, Koopmeiners having a rush of blood to the head with this crazy handball about 16 yards out. And then, as I said, going on to win the game on pens.
This is corruption. This is a theft.
Closer to home and down in the Championship, Jack Wilshere will be taking on the role as managing Norwich, and he's facing Aaron Ramsey as Cardiff boss in his first game. Jesus Christ, I am so old. At Plymouth versus Middlesbrough, there was an absolutely terrible penalty decision given against Plymouth, who faced a 750-mile round trip for this game, only for it to be undone by a guy tripping over his own feet. At Luton, this commentator couldn't quite hide his disappointment.
Mengi, Tanner shoots. Oh, it's an equaliser.
Meanwhile, at Walsall, there were crazy scenes against Newport, as there was a headed goal right at the death to secure Walsall a win away from home. Well, that's what they thought, but actually it was its very own hand of God. The referee's done his own version of VAR. It was that bad. They even got VAR down there. He went over, asked the linesman, then ruled it out. Peter Shilton absolutely fuming. At Wimbledon, and they had a player clashing with his own fans, and one striker decided to go and sit with the supporters for his celebration. Someone's got an absolutely mental Insta profile picture here, I'm not gonna lie. Meanwhile, at Lincoln, an A saw Bolton's goalkeeper off his line and decided to pull out a cheeky free kick. A cheeky free kick coming from the MLS as well, where Olivier Giroud added to his absolutely bonkers goals catalogue with one hit. I didn't even know he had that in his locker off the crossbar. Cradley Town challenged their players to bring their kit in anything but a bag, and the results were absolutely brilliant. Shout out whoever brought the microwave. In Uruguay, Peñarol somehow managed to fuck up this 4v1 situation, and if I was manager, I'd be selling all four of them. In the Kerala Premier League now in India, and Gaur Mahir's manager was so enraged by a refereeing decision to send him off from the touchline, he decided to pack his bags and just walk home mid-game. Shout out to Mohamed Salah here, who plays for a side in Kuwait, and knock off Mo Salah. He managed to score an injury time hat-trick, all 3 goals after the 90th minute. Former Lyon striker Moussa Dembele is completing side missions this week. He bought a club in Lithuania called FK Minija. Of course he did. Albion Rovers are posting brain rot over in Scotland. Meanwhile, at Livingston, and the twitting was continuing there as they confirmed that Ayr had their first shit on target. Their bathroom floor must be an absolute state. The theme was food over at Cheddar FC, where Morgan Bacon got himself on the score sheet. Honestly, they're about 2/3 of the way towards a solid sandwich there. Meanwhile, at Hashtag United, and Jermaine Anderson was caught lagging out.
Great covering, wasn't it? 1.5 minutes left.
Look, some of the stadiums in lower league football, they're in the middle of nowhere, okay? Bro had lowest internet connection, poor pig. Now there is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And I have got a story for you this week. For this story, we're going to head down to Old Malton St Mary's Football Club, who are playing against the Malt Shovel FC. I don't think either of these teams are real, I'm not going to lie. Now, there's often complaints about refereeing standards when it comes to lower league football. I mean, there's complaints about referees at all levels. But usually, you complain, you have maybe a little bit of an argument with the referee, and that's where things end. Except that's not where things ended here, as the game had to be abandoned for criminal reasons, because the referee went in at halftime and realized that somebody had left shit in his shoe. Yeah, that's right. This game got called off, abandoned completely, because someone had scooped some up and left it in the referee's shoe because he'd given a bad decision of some kind, a penalty, whatever. Whilst it's creative, that's crazy. You can't, I'm just gonna set a boundary right now, yeah? Referee or not, you can't shit in another man's shoe. Just put that one out there. I know that may well be shocking, but there are other ways to go about things in this life. On to the weird stuff though now, as if that wasn't weird. Anyway, first of all, we head back to Norwegian football. I told you about the Norwegian Cup a couple of weeks ago, where Bryn, former club of Erling Haaland, had faced off against the side in the 5th tier of Norwegian football, and the man of the match award was an entire pig. This time, it's a lamb, though it's a lamb that's like actually like a living lamb this time. I don't know what's going on in Norway, but they can't do just simple trophies, clearly. At Al Bayrak FC, and a tough season is continuing for them in the Saudi Arabian Women's First Division. They are firmly bottom of the table thanks to a 13-0 loss this week. It's not the only time they've been battered though. They actually lost 40-0 earlier on in the season as well. In Estonia, and there's a kit stealer on the loose. Yeah, Tamakas were supposed to be playing in their home kit, but arrived at the game having actually packed them on their team bus and realised that on arrival their kits had been stolen, so they had to play in their away kit instead. The thief is still at large. And finally, in Benin, of all places, in West Africa, we've got even more mischief. Yep, you've seen shitting in shoes, you've seen stealing kits, but have you seen spraying irritants on other players? Well, that's what's happening at Lotopopo. Great name, first of all. Like, we could just probably leave it there, really. Their fans have been accused by Barney Gansey, a club in Benin, of spraying a product that causes, like, loads of irritation and itchiness on the skin on their team bus, to which Lotopopo replied saying that they think the other team did that to their players at halftime. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.